friends. I go by the name of host Eric. I was talking with those people. And this morning I offered the following wisdom. So I'm a spider. So what? A show I just finished watching on Crunchyroll. Really great. I really like it a lot. Anyhow, I just got up. Not really feeling particularly energetic. I got a typing session this morning later. But I thought, you know what? What the hell? We'll do a little live streaming. Can't hurt, you know. This is known as Obi-Wan OG. I got it last night. High leaf trimmer. What's up? Hey, girl. What you doing? Folds down. Usually I have it folded up as per me. Yeah. Rachel and I take turns sleeping in here. It's weird. By and large, neither of us sleep well together. And we'll switch rooms multiple times a night. So we'll start out in bed together. Then either she or I will come out here. And then usually I'm the one who provokes a switch. I say, okay, can we switch rooms now? Because I'm not sleeping well and want to smoke a cigarette or whatever. So I come out here and she goes back inside the house. We switched rooms like twice last night. So, first, I switched out here. First, I was in there and she came out here. Then I came out here and she went back in there. Then I went back in there and she came back in here. And then I got up in the morning and said, okay, I'm up, but she's still not up, so she went back in there. So there's a lot of bed switching going on. This being one of the beds. This is obviously the less comfortable bed of the two. But it sleeps on just fine. It's still way more comfortable than my bed in China. That was the most awful thing I've ever encountered. That bed was practically designed to hurt your back. I had to go buy a thin, top mattress thing. And it still was uncomfortable. That's how shitty the bed was in China. In contrast, the bed in the master bedroom here where we sleep is really a nice bed. It's like I am pretty sure it's a king size bed. Although it might be a queen, but and it seems too big for a queen to me though. Rachel and I have so much room in that bed. There's absolutely no reason why we should disturb each other at all during our sleep, except for the fact that, we're both FE and we're both FE above SI. So it's like I can't really properly SI. I best SI when I'm Ryan by myself, I guess. I can put Rachel out of my mind better than she can put me out of her mind because she's FE tool. But anyway, we both do a much better job when we have our own space to sleep and rest in, So, anyway, for like a whole year, Rachel and I slept on top of this extra soft pad thing that was on top of the mattress for my mom. When we finally took that pad off, we realized, oh my God, this bed is so comfortable. It's an excellent mattress. I'm gonna put some pants on. Why? Because that's how I roll. If you haven't seen So I'm a Spider, So What, I'd highly recommend it. Very entertaining little show. I look forward to it each week. And it's kind of like, although I guess I would say, it's a tough call. What do I like better? The time I got reincarnated as a slime, or So I'm a Spider, So What? Similar concept, but very different shows. I think I like the slime one maybe a little bit better. It's moving faster. So I got reincarnated as a slime, it really moves through the storyline pretty quickly. The spider one also moves pretty quickly, but I don't know. The last couple episodes of the slime one were just absolutely epic. If you've not seen So I've Been Reincarnated as a Slime, it's just the last couple episodes have been epic. I appreciate the fact that they're real shows. They're real shows that I watch. I'm not just making this shit up. They're great. They're both really, really good shows. They're on Crunchyroll. Rimuru the slime. I mean, I don't want to throw out any spoilers for anybody who's not watched it, but the last couple episodes where he becomes a demon lord, and he's just, spoiler alert, okay, and he kills 10,000 people. It's just so fantastic. I mean, I don't know why I like shit like that, but I like it when the cartoon just goes balls out, right? Like in GATE, Gate, not Steins Gate. The Japanese army goes to the magical land and kills 100,000 people. I really like that show. That was one of my very favorite ones. I hate it when they have the cartoons where people don't die. Like, I watched this American cartoon, or was flipping through the channel or something, saw a bit of this American cartoon one time where it's for kids. I don't know. It was like some Saturday morning cartoon recently. And like this airship went down and crashed, and they had all the characters on the airship say, from a distance, you'd hear them say, "We're okay." It's like, okay, come on now. Why? Why can't we have things die in cartoons? When I was a kid, things died in cartoons all the time. We had those really great 40s cartoons where, like, the fish would say, "Now I've seen everything," and blow his head off. That was considered hilarious, I guess. And there'd be, yeah, I know. I hate that. I hate it when the cartoons are kid friendly, so they prevent anybody from dying, even in a big battle. I want there to be death, because then the show has more weight to it. You know, it's like, then things matter more in the storyline. What I think's funny about Netflix is it'll put like all the things that are in the show, right? It'll put sex, nudity, gore, killing, heroin, and then at the end it'll say smoking. It's like, one of these things is not like the other. It's like, you know, murder, rape, slavery, smoking. How do you get to smoking and then go, okay, that's it, I draw the line there? You know, it's always the last one on the Netflix thing, and everything that comes before smoking is way worse. Like, who says, okay, I'm fine with this having gore, rape, murder, and language, but not smoking? I mean, what? Why do they include smoking in those other things? In Harry Potter 6, the bridge attack scene, Millennium Bridge is destroyed and everybody on it manages to walk out just in time. The last scene shows an elderly couple just skipping away from it just as it falls away. Yeah, well, we don't want to influence the children to smoke. Kids, do as I say, not as I do. Okay? Don't smoke unless you want to. One of the very first things that anime ever taught me, it was that Team Rocket could survive from incredibly high falls. Well, maybe you're playing it wrong, Leaf Drummer. So, I'm super looking forward to Jesse. Yeah. And James was no threat. That guy was pretty flaming. No offense. I'm just saying he's not a threat if you're going to try to get on Jesse. She's always blasting off again, though. And is Brock ever going to get on Nurse Joy? Is that the question that we all want to know the answer to? I do. Does Brock ever get on Nurse Joy? He deserves to after all of that time pursuing her. He's always telling her how his beauty is constantly re-astonishing him again for the first time. You'd think at some point Nurse Joy would put out. Does Ash ever get on that other chick he's with? What's her name? Do they ever grow up and hump? I won't be the very best no one's ever saw. I have not seen that, no. Oh, Misty. Yeah, I want to see 10 years after Pokemon, and Brock's got 6 child support payments as he's fucked all these Nurse Joys across the land. Yeah. Ash is 35. He's got all these Pokemon. Everybody else has a job. Misty's that's it, Ash. I'm done. I'm done. You and your Pokemon. For God's fucking sake, we're grown-ups now. But Professor Oak's dead! He's been dead for 10 years! You're living in the past! I want to see Ash and Brock's midlife crisis as a spin-off show of Pokemon. And he just opens up a shop selling Pokemon, and mostly it's paperwork all day. Team Rocket comes by to shit on him periodically. They now run a big corporation, teaching people how to survive from falls from great heights. Yeah, Ash got a big old beer belly. He's got a bit of an alcohol problem. He and Pikachu have a weird relationship as well. He stopped sleeping with Misty a couple of years ago, pretty much. And Misty thought he was cheating, but she can't find any evidence of it. But yeah, Ash did have that one night stand with Jesse. That's true. That was before he and Misty were going steady, so it was okay. He didn't really break any rules. But Misty, it's beginning to dawn on Misty what he and Pikachu are doing every night after she goes to bed. A lot of times in the morning, she'll get up and Ash will be rubbing aloe on his electrical burns. So I'm not sure what they're up to, but Pikachu will be all sweaty. We're like, Pikachu. The best thing about Pokemon is the fact that all Pokemon can only say their own name, except for Meowth, who talks like a old timey gangster. Meowth. Is that ever explained why Meowth can talk and none of the other Pokemon can? Do they ever explain that in Pokemon? Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know why Meowth can talk and none of the other Pokemon can talk. But I really think Ash and Brock's midlife crisis is the Cobra Kai of anime. Okay, it's got a lot of potential as a hit. If we could get all the original characters back, Brock, Ash, Misty, Nurse Joy. We can get them to reprise their roles, but now they're older. But you know what? They still have some competition in them. And you know, the culminating scene will be the midlife crisis tournament, Pokemon tournament, in which Ash quits drinking and he begins training his own theretofore neglected son that Misty, he made with Misty, but it was actually during a threesome with Pikachu, so there's a little bit of Pikachu sperm in it. So he seemed the most sensible one in the whole show, really. Yeah, you're talking about general sensibilities. I'd say Meowth had general sensibility. Sense and sensibility is Jane Eyre, said? No, wait, what's that lady's name who wrote Jane Eyre? Who wrote Jane Eyre? Someone Austen? Jane Austen. Jane Austen also wrote Sense and Sensibility. And I wrote Your Mom's Face in the Snow with my pee. Utter self. May I just say, it's an absolute delight to have you around. Absolute delight. If you are an ENTP, you certainly are a refined European one. You don't really have any ass wipiness to you. So if you are an ENTP and not an INTP of yourself, I want you to tell me, what techniques do you use to excise the ass wipiness from yourself? Because I can't seem to get rid of it. Oh, yeah, she did. Jane Austen? She liked it raw and hard. She's one of literature's most famous sluts. Jane Austen, famous around London for seeking out strange men to give it to her in back alleys. Yeah, I see. I got to tell you, I really love this show. I really love the fuck out of it. So I'm a spider, so what? It's one of these two fantastic shows that I'm currently watching that I rarely talk about. I talk about anime a lot, I've seen a lot of anime. And yet I rarely talk about these two that I'm currently watching that are coming out right now on Crunchyroll. One of them being So I'm a Spider, So What, which it's the most fun, like quick moving, delightful little show I've seen in a while. And then what's even better So I've been reincarnated as a slime. That show is fantastic. I gotta say that Rimuru is so badass. Yeah. Jane Austen was known as the community bicycle. Okay. Everybody had a ride. But she was also known in literary circles as a great writer. You're learning slime right now too. Are you up to date on it, Icy? Because the last couple of episodes are just so badass. It's just like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, fucking kill him. You know? Didn't you feel a great sense of satisfaction if you're all caught up? Oh, you've read the manga too. Don't give me any spoilers then, please. I've never read any mangas. I only watch anime. Yet, nevertheless, I do self-identify as an otaku, not a weeb. Okay, so please don't refer to me as a weeb. I'm an otaku. Yeah, the Rimuru shit is super badass. I'm also enjoying, which is a more serious one, and ass wipiness. Yes. No, just being all meh all the time, like me. You know, I tend to be a little bit meh all the time. Not all the time, but some of the time. Well, see, I'm transracial, fluidly transracial, so I get to be a real otaku. Because sometimes I'm Japanese. So desu ka? Wakatta. Anyway, other animes I've really been enjoying. Much more serious one, but I've been watching on Funimation, is called My Promise, or The Promised Neverland. And it's a pretty creepy story if you've not checked it out. It's about children who are raised on a farm for meat for demons, and they're trying to escape the farm. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but if you've not seen that one, I recommend it. It's pretty damn good. Rachel and I are watching that together, so I'm not even. Usually, I go ahead. I can't wait for Rachel because I can binge the shit way more hardcore than she can. But some of the shows I wait for her on, and I'm waiting for her on My Promised Neverland. Yeah, I see. That's we'll put it this way. Season 1 is one full arc, right? They have a clear goal. Escape the house that they're in. And it begins at the beginning and ends at the end of that arc. The second season is much more convoluted. Like, it's got a lot more going on in terms of, you know, multiple characters, mixed storylines, etc. But I'm still enjoying it. You know, I think that's a fair thing to say. Here are a list of some of my very favorites of all time, though, that are sometimes underappreciated. If you've not watched Fire Force, that's top on the list of my ones that people might not have watched that are totally worth watching. Also, World Trigger is fantastic. I can't get enough of World Trigger. I'm still enjoying it enough to watch it for sure. You know, I actually watched quite a bit of Baki. And the reason I was able to watch it at all is because it was on Netflix, so I could watch it at double speed. Or the fastest speed it lets you watch it at anyway, whatever that is. But God, was that show awful. Have you seen Baki? I see. It's the worst show, and it's just, it makes me want to smack my face just thinking about it. Yeah, well, don't. Okay. Now, Baki. All right. So here's an example of the kind of writing that Baki has. Baki's a MMA fighter, and he's with his girlfriend, and they're hiding in his cave one time, right? For some reason. It's hard to say why in Baki. And the girlfriend goes, oh, what's that? And from the back of the cave, there's these two red eyes coming out. And Baki turns and looks and goes, oh, that's just a mysterious Yeti I once fought in an MMA fight. There is, and then they cut to the next scene. There is no mention ever before or after that scene of this Yeti. It's like the only thing that happens in the cave, too. I'd hide in the cave if I had a good reason to. As a Negrum 649, your ass always wipes itself. Oh, I see. It's because you don't have an 8. Is that what you're saying? It's because you lack an 8 other self? That 9 must be pretty pesky. Making peace with people, not bringing the pew, 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 you know? That's got to be pesky. But, I got to tell you, being an asswipe has its own downsides. So, for every sunny day, there is a cloud. Okay. I'm going to stand up and go over there and pee, but I'm still going to talk about the exciting world of anime. So, Fire Force World Trigger, well worth watching. If you've not seen Gate, not Steins Gate, just Gate, Gate, one of my favorites. Delilah really liked that gambling one on Netflix. Not sure what it's called. There have been a couple on Netflix that I've really enjoyed. Oh, you do bring the pew pew? Okay, but do you bring the pew pew? Because anybody can bring pew pew pew. But sometimes you have to escalate the pew. Like pew! Can you do that? Yeah, my daughter Delilah really likes it, and has tried to get me to watch it, but I just found it. It didn't get me, But my daughter's an ESTP, and I'm an ENTP, so I tend to like more Swords and Dragons stuff. Kakaguri, ooey, yeah. Well, that might also be why my daughter likes it. But I like plenty of female lead things. So I'm a spider, so what? That has a female lead. My favorite ones I saw on Netflix were, I first saw Durarara. Yeah, Swords and Dragons stuff. I like Swords and Dragons stuff mostly. I first saw Durarara on Netflix. That's probably Rachel's favorite. Durarara is a great show for a couple to watch because it's got a little bit of kind of Swords and Dragons-y stuff in it, at least with the headless horseman, and it's got some magic, but it's mostly a regular life story about regular people. It's also put together, Durarara is put together narratively in a really interesting way. It's like they almost do away with linear storytelling entirely, but it doesn't feel like like how sometimes you try to get too weird about your story construction, you just make it confusing. Durarara doesn't do that. Oh, you can bring a kapow? Wow. I didn't know you had spent your skill points on kapow. I hope not to be spoiling anything. If you've not seen the most recent episode of Spider yet, close your ears, but the dragon spent almost all of its skill points on special skills just to fight the spider. That includes your poison resistance. You know, it's like, it's going to make things tough for that spider, you'd think, right? Yeah, dude, Rah 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 is pretty rad. Dude, Rah 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 2's having a little bit of a harder time grabbing me, I guess. But there are 13 or 14 episodes of Spider now. And the thing is, if you start Spider, it starts lightning fast. It's like it will grab you immediately and take you 3 episodes or 4 episodes in before it asks you to do any work as a viewer, you know. It's like it's at a certain point the Spider show leaves ignores the spider for a second and deals with the humans in the storyline. That's a little bit slower, and you're kind of waiting for them to get back to the spider. But it takes them like 4 episodes to even get to the humans. So by the time they get to them, you're fully engrossed in the spider show. It's fantastic. What else am I currently watching? I'm currently watching what's coming out. Is Jujutsu Kaisen, a very snappy looking. Very snappy. Yeah, I know. It has to have some of it, right? But the thing is, what you don't want to do, I think. Oh, of course, I'm watching Attack on Titan. Yeah. I'm also watching Jujutsu Kaisen. The ones that are currently coming out, The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter. I like that. It's light. It's breezy. It's sort of like harem-ish, kind of harem light, you know? Like a lot of these shows, there's this common theme of the nice Japanese guy who has to take care of a group of attractive young females who are in his demographic to be sexually available, but he doesn't have sex with them, but he might have sex with other people who are not in his group that he's taking care of. And all the girls in the group he's taking care of are all like, hey, I want you though, I want you. And he's like, I can't do that. I'm too nice. It must be a Japanese thing, right? I don't know. I don't know what else to make of it. It's very common. It's a very common theme. But it's like I don't think the American cartoon maker would have him so, you know, not fuck all those chicks, I guess. But there are a lot of tropes that are very, I guess, revelatory about Japanese culture in general. Like, there are certain scenes that exist in just about every single anime. Japan is really weird about food. They think they have mastered the world's greatest cuisine, and that nothing in the world is as refined as Japanese food. So this is obviously deeply, deeply ingrained in their culture. Because just about every single anime involves some person who's not familiar with Japanese food, either because they're from the country and out in the sticks, or because they're from another world, or whatever, or another country, and they sit down and they're at their first meal when they're with their first Japanese meal, and they go like this. Itadakimasu. Very unsure. They look at it very unsure. And they go, oh, it's so good. Like every fucking anime has that scene, Yeah, Icy knows what I'm talking about, right? Hi, Jesus is Lord. Another very common trope is the two guys run past each other, right? In a fight. This guy's very confident, right? But this guy's the good guy. They run past each other, and you see the silhouettes of each other, right? So they've just run past each other with their swords, and you see the silhouettes of the two. And then this guy is confident that he won, that he got him, ha! And then he goes, oh, and the blood comes out of his mouth, And then the good guy says something like, not fast enough. And sheathes his sword, That's that's a textbook fight trope. Prepubescent love robots. Look, how but the key thing is the image. They run past each other. That's animated, and then there's a still. It's like a white background. It's just them in black, right? And then maybe they go back to their faces for a second, and he's thinking, "I won." And then they go back to these silhouettes, and you see the blood coming out. Because Japanese people are always coughing up blood when they get injured or sick or something. It seems like they're particularly prone to coughing up blood. It doesn't seem no matter what the problem is, be it a broken ankle or COVID or whatever, Japanese people will display that they're ill by coughing up blood. In real life, it's like I'm going to die very soon. In anime, this is nothing. We've got work to do. I have my resolve. A little blood coughing up never hurt anybody. Yeah, nosebleeds when horny as well. That's true. Also, when sleeping in Japan, everybody has nose, bubbles, and drool concurrently. Like, have you ever seen anybody with a nose bubble? Additionally, the great thing about living in Japan is you can always tell when someone has a crush on you because they get 3 red lines on each cheek. I mean, what explicitly makes them sex dolls, though? I'm already in love. No, Japanese women have this weird disease where when men approach them sexually, they become increasingly utterly helpless. Until they're like a newborn baby, just mewling there. It's strange. It's a strange disease that Japanese women have. I'm not sure how they got it, but it apparently has infected the entire country. The other weird thing in anime, why is it that the chicks are always thirsty and the dudes are always too cool to be thirsty? You know, the only exception is Baki. It's like Baki's the only dude, and he's a complete moron. Have I seen Conan Raise a Family in Japan? No, I had no idea such a thing existed. Okay, I'll check it out. I mean, it's like one interesting show. If you want to see a show about like actual Japanese people and their lives a bit, is like I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying. I think it's called. It's an anime about from the perspective of a wife of an otaku whose job it is to review and write about anime. And it's a really interesting sort of peek into, I guess, inside jokes otakus make with each other. It's an interesting one. You know, another one that people never have heard of generally or consider watching that's great is Olympia Greek Kyklos. It's very strange and very worth watching at the same time. It really delighted me. That's a good observation. I see the target audience is introverted people, so the ultimate fantasy is a girl coming after them. I mean, that might be the case, but I think it's also indicative in general of the way that FE plays out in Japanese culture, which is to say, like the way that masculinity is interpreted differently there. It's interpreted as more like a repression of all emotions and appetites is the ultimate. They have like the ultimate male is like like Levi in AOT. That's the ultimate Japanese male. Yeah, the ultimate male is dead inside. Exactly. I don't know if this has anything to do with why I like it or not, but I really don't see very many characters like myself at all in anime. I can only think of a couple of examples of ENTPs in anime. One being the blonde guy who's running for office at the end of Hunter x Hunter, and the other being Tsunade from Naruto Shippuden. That's about it, really. You know. And neither of them are very much like me. Oh, that reminds me of my hilarious poll I'm going to put up in a little bit. Boba Fett. I was going to say, I self-identify as socially conservative, fiscally conservative, socially liberal, fiscally conservative, fiscally liberal, socially conservative, fiscally liberal, socially liberal, intelligent. Ha 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 ha. That should get a lot of commentary on the polls, huh? Oh, well, don't even bother taking the Myers-Briggs test. It's silly. But you were brought in by the talk about anime, not by the. See, this is what people like to accuse me of being some sort of typology channel. I talk about all kinds of shit. I don't know, typology channel. You know, 8 values. Cheese. Cheese is one of the values, I'm sure. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because I got to type in later this morning. I got to go poo, and I want to put that poll up and so forth. But I will answer our self thing first. Typology question. I was supposed to meet this ex-NFJ girl today for a chat. I was 5 minutes late and my phone was off. She came 15 minutes early. Lots of patients may have door slammed me. Or a... well, are you sure that's not SFJ? Might be SFJ. I mean, if it's a new thing, you might as well just write it off. It's probably not worth fighting through the initial bad thing, you know? What I'd suggest is you sit down and watch Fire Force on yourself. That's what I'd suggest. You too, Icy. If you haven't seen Fire Force, it's the most visually beautiful anime you will ever see. And if you don't agree, come back and say, you were wrong, Eric. Okay? Anyway, rock and roll. Watch Fire Force. See you later.